y'all. Today we're going to be smoking a fillet of salmon. Now I'd planned to do this after I'd gone fishing, but I don't see fishing in my future anytime soon with a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old. So what I did last night was I went ahead and I salted the fish, which you're going to see in the clip. Now, after your fish is salted, you leave it for 12 hours. And after 12 hours, you're supposed to rinse the excess salt and liquid away, just so that you don't put it into the mixture for the seasoning that we're making. And we're going to be making a teriyaki sauce for this mixture. This is a really old school way of doing a smoked salmon, because the salting really preserves the fish. I expect that, and I'm not telling you this is solid information, but I believe that the way we salted this fish would actually last quite a while in the refrigerator, up to a month, I believe, just because you're introducing so much salt into the fish. And then on top of it, smoking does provide a lot of preservatives all on its own. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this fish and we're going to wash it in the sink. Alright, here's our fish here. This is what it looks like after it sat all night. Now this had a ton of salt on it, so you can see what it's done. It's drawn out a lot of the liquid of the fish. See that? And there's a little bit of salt left over. So what we'll do is we'll take cold water, pour it over the fish. Okay. That's about all we want to do. We don't want to soak it down. We're not looking to scrub it or anything crazy like that. Just a little bit of salt washed off, because there's some extra granular salt, and get that liquid that's developed on there off of it. Alright, now we'll take this and we'll move over to the bowl. I had to dummy down my instructions because my instructions for making this mixture is for a very large batch of salmon. So when you go out and you fish for salmon, you usually come back with, in this state, we're allowed 2, which means 2 full fillets, which are generally about, I think they're about 16 to 18 inches long, each fillet, and you get 2 fillets out of a salmon. So my batch makes enough for 2 whole fish. So after dummying it down and trying to make enough for what I predict is about 1/8 of a fillet, I moved everything down to 1/8. You can scale up as you need. So I'm going to give you the exact measurements I came up with for 1/8ing, if that's even a word, my recipe. So we have 1 full cup of soy sauce. We have a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And we have 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Okay? We'll combine that in a dish that you can get your salmon into and get it to cover the fillet. We also add For this small amount of liquid, we do 2 tablespoons or 1/8 of a cup of honey. I'm not going to scoop out and then measure it out that way. It'll be easier if I just pour it out, because 1/8 of a cup is only about this much. The full recipe calls for a full cup, I believe, of honey. So I would normally measure that out. So I'm just going to go eyeball this because it's a lot easier for such a small amount. Okay. That's going to be a little more than I want, but that will do the trick. Okay. And that is all the ingredients that go into doing this. Sorry about this. So I got a little ahead of you on the after mixing. All I did was take the fillet and I laid it face down in this case, because the liquid is just not quite enough to pass over the top of the fish while it's laying face up. You can, as far as I'm concerned, you can do it either way. I lay it face down though, so to make sure that the liquid penetrates all of the flesh, the part that we actually eat. The skin we don't typically eat, but there is a layer of fat between the skin and the flesh that when you get all that delicious liquid in there, it penetrates the fat and really does flavor it a bit more. But this is it for the process right now. Now what we do is we let this sit for 24 to 36 hours in this concoction, and then we will smoke it. It's very important that you let anything that you smoke, when the marinade calls for a long time in the liquid to marinate, that you let it marinate for that long, because the marinade needs the time to penetrate into the flesh, and whoever's created the marinade knows how long it takes for the flavor to really saturate in. You don't want to do it for too much longer than what they say, because then you might get an overabundance of flavor and it could be too strong, if you will, and just kind of be unpalatable. Alright everybody, it's been 12 hours. So we're going to take this rack and we're going to apply a little bit of olive oil, just so that we can get it lightly greased, so that our our fish doesn't stick to the grate. Doing it over top of the sink so that if any oil drips down, it's in the sink and not on the floor or table. That's all. Alright, just like that. We're lightly coated with olive oil. And now we take this fish that's been marinating for 24 hours at least, and we're going to put it skin side down, which is quite important, on this rack here. Let it drip a little bit. Doesn't need to be dripping when we put it on there. Like that. Ooh, look how dark that got. Point in the process, we don't need our water pan. Water pan's for keeping some moisture in the box when you're cooking. We don't need to do that right now. That's more for bolognas, pepperonis, sausages, stuff like that. Stuff that you want to keep moist and infuse with smoke. So water pan's going to the side. We've got our temperature set at 160. Now it only takes an hour to 2 hours to smoke this fish. This fish is done when it is flaky, when it comes apart, and I'll show you that when we get it out of the smoker and into the house. But for now, I want to get the smoke rolling early. I don't want to put the fish in there and then turn the smoke chips, which are in this box here. I want these smoke chips ready to rock I want the smoke rolling out when I put the fish in, so it gets plenty of that smoke. So I've already loaded my tray. I'm going to insert my tray on the other side. I'm going to roll it over, dump those chips. Okay. Alright, we're going to take the fish and put it in now. Everything's preheated and ready to rock. See a little bit of smoke trickling out. Alright. See you guys in about an hour, maybe two. Alright. We just got this out of the smoker. And you can see that is a good smoked salmon. Salmon is a little extra dry. I left it in there a little bit too long, but it'll still be just fine. Add it to some cream cheese and you can make a good salmon spread. Now this should last in the refrigerator for a good couple days at least. At least anyway. And it comes out salty, smoky, and sweet. Alright. See what kind of trouble I can get into tomorrow. Later.